Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I'm Nathanius, joined by Katz as we get into the winner's match of Group A for apples. I love apples, Katz. Do you like to eat apples?
I'm a fan, yeah.
Do you have a favorite type of apple? I'm putting
Granny
you on the spot.
Smith, is it?
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I like Fiji apples because I'm a hipster. But you know what is also really hip is building battle cruisers against Zerg players as we get ready for our winner's match. So Terran versus Zerg. uThermal built BCs in his 2 games where he dumpstered a laser to start the day off, and I'm excited to see more of it.
Yeah, me too. And Reynor is a person that usually has his own style, especially against the type of build order that isn't very common, such as the type of thing that uThermal is doing, right? Like the least common it is, the more he'll try to find his way to deal with it. So before, against the Cyclone mech that we were looking at, he was trying, for example, Mutiling Bane. But I think he stopped after a show match against Marine Lord. So I'm very curious to see what Reynor will be doing too.
Yes, that I think is the big question going into this match as we start things off. Because, well, this guy, he gave him a couple of great games to watch earlier that he's hopefully been looking at and studying since the beginning of the day. In the top left, our red Terran player, he is uThermal.
And on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is the Italian wonder boy, Reynor.
I want to see that gym Reynor talked about her at the ROG tournament get built. I want to see him just show up to one tournament like jacked. Like we have an off season, you know? Like after BlizzCon, Reynor just kind of like goes a little ghost protocol. Like maybe we see him in Nation Wars and it's like, oh, he's looking a little bit more buff. But then like 2-3 months later, we get like whatever the first event is and 2020. God, is that the year we're getting to?
Yeah,
There's going to be so many. I can't wait to see what kind of memes we have in 2020. But anyway, but then he just shows up ripped, like just super.
Have you been to Italy, Nate?
I've never been to Italy.
Have you had much Italian food?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Difficult to pass on, and difficult to do that and get huge. Right?
That's if you're lifted enough, there's you could have a chicken parm without a bowl of spaghetti on top of it. I'm just saying.
I guess.
Can you? Can you? You could, maybe.
Technically.
Gelatos and like ice creamy type stuff can be pretty. Good fats and proteins in there.
You could do like a pizza without the crust and.
Okay, but they don't do super. The pizza's not as bready there. It's not like a big. It's not like a full American pizza.
More like New York pizza. More like New York.
Yeah, New York pizza. That's you're not getting jacked off that. That's some heavy stuff. But as we get into this game, the SCV, by the way, so we're seeing the same thing that uThermal did in his match against the Laser, SCV scouting with the Reaper expand, and then having the SCV wait for the drone to try and block the third from going down early. Reynor did not send 2 drones like a Laser did, but he's going to juke him anyway, and the Reaper is going to get the block.
No. He will. Oh!
He does not get the block.
He does not get the block. But nice attempt by uThermal and a very good juke by Reynor, right? Like just turning around in the middle of nowhere. So.
By the way, he could probably totally go for like a dirty gain style. I'm just saying. He could get, if he's working out enough, I'm just saying, pasta calories will still have to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's encourage him to do that then instead of beating Cyril.
Hashtag ripped Reynor 2020. That's what we want.
But can we have that and the Cyril that beats Reynor at the same time?
And
or the Reynor that beats Cyril?
I think we can. I think we can have that.
Yeah. Showtime is kind of that, right?
I imagine like a training montage where it's like Reynor just like pumping up weights and just his like devilish boyish smile, and then Cyril just like walking through the woods like hunting elk with his dad or something. It's like the two sides.
Why? Okay.
I don't know. That's the vibe I get from him. So
yeah, that's what his signature video was.
Neither of those training videos, by the way, show them actually playing StarCraft, but like most movies, that's the way it should be.
Indeed.
So it's a Roach Warren early on, and where is it? Starport's done. Okay, Fusion Core, it's on the way. Good. Just making sure we're gonna have that this game.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that because there's no bigger expert on the subject than yourself.
I don't know. I feel like I've broken it. Oh, he's going to go bio behind it. This will be the first big change up. So I like this because to me, it looks like uThermal wants this to look like all of the games against a laser.
Right.
And then Reynor will see this. He'll see a lot of Hellions. And it's important that uThermal builds more Hellions than he needs because you really want him to believe that it's mech. And then maybe he does something silly, like build too many roaches or not make any tech transition, and then all of a sudden, uThermal's got a ton of Marine Marauder.
Is uThermal aware of the Roach Warren right now? I wonder.
He didn't see it, but I mean, Reynor's still squeezing out drones. I don't know that he's going to get attacked. I think it's just defensive roaches.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
See those.
But I think Reynor's kind of preparing blind for what uThermal would be doing off of this opener, like you mentioned, right? So, so this is a win that there's a Roach Warren, and that's why I was thinking maybe he saw the Roach Warren and then decided to go bio instead of mech, but no, he's just the mind game has worked in his favor.
He just canceled Stim and then he started it again. I don't know if he was like moving his barracks for some reason, but
no,
that was awkward.
Yeah, that's never what you want. How far along was it? Was it about to be finished?
I don't think it was about to finish. I think it was like maybe a quarter of the way.
Okay.
He lost like 20 or 30 seconds on it, I think. I don't know. Someone in Twitch chat will use their expert knowledge to point out the truth to us soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, and here's the roaches. I mean, they haven't been spotted by uThermal, so he's gonna have to react quick on his feet. And there's not very many units here. The Hellions are gonna be virtually useless, but the battlecruiser will attempt to defend. I mean,
it is 6 slow roaches, so
yeah. Would you like to see a commitment here from those roaches, Nate, or just a runaway here? I guess the runaway works.
I like either, mostly because like he just delayed on the BC, and now you're a little bit hesitant to teleport the battlecruiser across the map.
But you still do it, right?
Keeping it at home is the best move because, see, this is really nice because there's a bunch of lings and he doesn't know about those lings to the right.
Yeah.
But if he had teleported the BC, those lings and roaches just kill him immediately.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what Reynor was looking for too, right? He was sticking around with the roaches and then he pokes back in to see if the BC is still there or not. And it is. So no space to capitalize, and now all of these roaches will die. Or a lot of them will. And this is what I thought was going to happen at the natural base earlier, but they managed to get away. Not so lucky this time around.
He got something in the main. Oh, was he trying to mess with him? Because he saw the stim being researched with an overlord, and then he moved the barracks off of that tech lab. But I don't know, because he still sees his last vision of the main base is still him researching stim. So he should assume it's bio. In fact, yeah, he's got the baneling nests, so.
Yeah, he's not going to be producing any more roaches. He's getting the melee upgrades for his Zerglings, Reynor, that is. So very much out of that area. And very nice morph here by uThermal. Very heads-up play.
And I thought he was going to lose all his health.
Me too, for sure.
That BC goes over to the third, focus down some drones, and now you can still get the utility out of the BC. Even if you're not playing mech, battlecruiser is always going to be useful for harass. Like it's your 400 mineral, 300 gas, behemoth.
And he only made one, right?
Harasser. Yeah, just the one battle.
Yeah, so this is pretty decent for uThermal. I mean, there's a lot of queens being made for this battlecruiser as well, spores in every base. So I like it. I like the game for him. The only problem for him is he hasn't really mitigated any of this creep spread very well.
Yeah. And of course, you need to be very, very good with this push that you're trying to make as uThermal to get some damage done, because Reynor does love playing against bio. I think it was, I was talking to Roddy yesterday, and he was telling me that he was hanging out with Reynor during that tournament, and I think it was like the one game where Time or somebody like actually went bio, and he's like, why didn't he do that against me? Or maybe it might have been Gumiho or someone. But it's like, I love to play versus bio.
Yeah, and as our observer, Wisomsauce just pointed out with the camera that the rocks have been broken down by Reynor, so he has the potential to wrap around this army should he want to, and it blocks that really annoying position potentially. I don't know about this.
He's really overstimmed too. One baneling hit will kill.
Oh my God, he's not splitting either. He's not
again.
No!
Yeah, splitting doesn't matter here anymore when.
No more, yeah, no more.
Yeah.
When there's roaches there.
Combat shields finishes right after too.
Yeah, and that was a little bit sketchy. I mean, the tanks got left alone in the front, right? That's never what you want.
Yeah. No, that went about as badly. I mean,
I think he sieged a little bit too far forward. I would have liked the tanks to be like at least a couple of them.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, this is still a lot of Marines. Like, his production so far has still been really good, but it's like, okay, good scan, but the link run bys, that's a Reynor.
I think it's those Ravagers probably that caught him off guard. Right? Like the Ravagers were such a heads-up play. I didn't think he would be going back into Roaches, but to deal with the tanks, the Ravagers were very nice.
He doesn't really have any high-level tech. He's going up to Hive, but he's, you know, it's not like he has Infestors. There's no Hydras. It's just Roach, Ling, Bane, and a couple Ravagers mixed in. But when you have this many Roaches and this many Banelings, you don't need anything else. So he cleans up all the bio. The wall on the third base was really well done because there's just a funnel into that valley in front of the natural now. He has to use Banelings to break it open if he wants to flank him. So that was a good heads-up play by uThermal as well, because really the biggest thing to keep in mind against Reynor is that he will try to get the crazy run-bys going.
Oh yeah, and he is in such a comfortable position, Reynor, that is right now. He has a big army, all the map control you want, great vision with the creep. Doesn't really. This is the thing that Reynor doesn't do that most top-level Zerg players do a lot. He doesn't really spread his overlords very much. He has always great coverage with the creep spread. He usually has pretty good coverage with Lings to see army movement, but you know doesn't really spread the overlords all that much usually.
No, and this drop is going to get pushed back. It's going to swing around the outside, but the Ultralisk Cavern is coming in. It's going to run into all of these units off creep, so the siege tank should be able to do a little bit.
Yeah, and if those tanks were sieged just an inch closer to those Ravagers, then they would have been both taken out by corrosive vials here. But not having the vision, not able to do that. uThermal is kind of in a difficult position right now, but he's going to be closing the gap from here on as far as supply is concerned.
+3 starts up for uThermal, and for Reynor, the chitinous plating for the Ultralisk as well. Those Marines are going to be able to kill the Queen as they die, and this is it's a sizable force, but he's not maxed.
He's not.
This is still a very dangerous army with the Vipers. The Blinding Cloud on siege tanks could be huge. We see a lot of Zergs also just throw parasitic bombs onto medevacs as well.
Yeah, if there's enough medevacs, then that's definitely a way to go about it. And here's the run-bys that you were just talking about when it comes to Reynor. But hey, go kill them! Oh, he couldn't decide between the Lings and the Banelings. That was a nice play by Reynor, and this wall of will trap all of those Zerglings there. The positioning much better this time around by uThermal, even though he's in a valley, which you don't really want for those tanks. Someone has to be spotting the high ground there, or Reynor's gonna get too easy of a setup.
Yep, and it's been a very tricky spot because he did get the fourth base up, which is nice, but losing those SCVs certainly not fun because he's been doing a lot of scans for the creep, which means he doesn't have a lot of mules. So then having only 52 SCVs does end up impacting him quite a bit. He's just trying to do all of it with Marine tank, but
yeah, and he's near maxed, and you might think, oh, the supplies are so close, but Reynor has a lot of Banelings, and he's coming from every angle. Nathaniel, what's going on?
And he gets beautiful Blinding Clouds, as you were saying. The Banelings are able to get all over the Marines. The siege tank's only just now able to fire, and it's not quite enough, as a huge torrent of Zerglings is going to be the follow-up. He does kill the entire ground army, and uThermal didn't rebuild any of the workers that he had lost, so he does have to spread out some of the... Yeah, he just doesn't really have anything mining on his third base right now, so he just now starts to rebuild SCVs, and that is not going to do him any favors. One of the medevacs gets hit by a corrosive bile, and this is plenty of healing for the Marines, which is really nice. But as the Ultras come out, it's going to turn into the type of attack where you can just swing back across to the other end of the map.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very dangerous position to be in.
Yeah, very difficult for uThermal from here on. I mean, he doesn't have the economy, like you said, to rebuild his army, and he doesn't have much of an army. He has more medevacs than he has Marines, I think.
He's building 5 SCVs at a time, but it's like now he's in that awkward stage where he's got a lot to deal with there. Does replenish this wall very quickly, but the creep is approaching that third base too. But like 10 SCVs on your third, that's a feels bad man situation.
I don't want to call the game too early because, you know, like but I mean, Reynor would have to pull in a laser here to drop this one, I think.
Yeah, no, Reynor's in a beautiful spot. Champ.
There we
uThermal's like, you know what? I don't even want to take the final fight. GG. So maybe see him go back to the back. I did like the fake out attempt, but it did not seem to phase Reynor in any way. He was still dealt with it totally fine. The battle cruiser died very early. Like he sent it around that mineral line and then he just left it there and was like, yeah, whatever, kill it.
Yeah, not like him. Not like him. And the push was just a little bit awkward with the tanks sieging under or down the ramp and
in a
clumped
clump.
up.
Yeah. No, that's what you're 100% on the money. Like if he had staggered the tanks a bit, and even then, like having the battle cruiser, it doesn't feel like it synergizes that well with bio, but especially, I was gonna say, especially I think we've seen even like the top level Koreans when they do the BC rush and go into bio, they do bring it for that push because if you tell the battle cruiser to right click on the banelings or the Ravagers, there's
Or
only
the
a
Lynx
couple
even,
of queens. Yeah, like just having the BC there to shoot, it's going to mess with, if any queens are there, it's going to soak their hits and let your bio, your marine tank do more. And if there aren't any queens, then the battle cruiser just gets to fight the whole entire time. And it still has good DPS, even if you're not playing mech.
Yeah, Cirque Micro is a lot about positioning rather than microing individual units too. So yeah, you can do things to mess with Cirque players with the positioning of the battle cruiser. You can draw some army away and whatnot.
Losing it, the way that he lost it just felt a little...
Close to your heart, the BC, huh?
Yeah. Don't think that the stim cancel ended up hurting him. That still confuses me a bit. I think he was maybe trying to make it look like he was canceling stim.
That's weird.
I don't know.
I mean, if I saw that, I would think it finished rather than canceled.
Yeah, no. So I don't really understand what happened with that either. But so uThermal he played this mech style that that people are like, this is kind of how you can beat Reynor, and then
You've had that game though, Nate. That game where you cancel your stim and it's just like you spiral down into oblivion, right?
That's true.
It's like everything goes wrong.
It's been a while since I researched stim, but yeah. If I get stim, it's only because I need something after I've mined the map out of gas for my Ghost Liberator meme build. That's about it.
All right.
New repugnancy for the next game. Just surprised that first game was on Cyberforce, by the way. Like, I don't know why you'd want to, if you're going to play Bio especially, I don't know why you'd want to play on Cyberforce.
No clue. They are both hat wearers, by the way. Reynor and uThermal, two of the only hat wearers in the scene.
Not too many people in StarCraft wear hats. But yeah, this guy, one of them who does in the bottom left, our Red Terran, he is uThermal. Mr. Schlappy.
And another one who does, in the right top corner, it is Reynor.
Do you own a lot of hats, Paolo?
I own a lot of the same StarCraft hat.
The same StarCraft hat?
Yeah, I have like 4 of them. I'm not sure why. I think it was like a BlizzCon or Summit like goodie bag type hat.
They gave us a few different types of hats at some points, though. I really like the StarCraft remastered hat.
I don't have that one.
That's... We gotta get you the hookup. The cheeky little silver one. That's a nice one.
Wait. I have the silver one.
Yeah. You have 4 silver hats?
Yeah. The one that just says SC.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's
wonderful.
That's my favorite. That's the best one in my opinion, so you're good there.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see if this Overlord can spot the proxy barracks coming out in this game.
Nifty.
I own a lot of hats. I'm pretty big on hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who's the better hatter then between these two?
Better hatter? I'd feel like. I mean, I know Reynor wears hats, but I'm pretty sure uThermal was. If you were gonna say one of these guys is a hat man, it's 100% uThermal.
Yeah. And Reynor will spot the Marine and by proxy the proxy.
I'm just surprised a Muslim hasn't joined him yet.
That's brutal, Nate.
It's okay. I love Ben.
Indeed.
He did send me a picture. He was at some pub that was called Savages or something, so I'm really just trying to play into my character.
Yeah, well, this is pretty savage by uThermal as he manages to get his bunker up, though very far back.
Can you get that next one before the creep is there?
No. But this will still hit the hatchery, right? So
I think, yeah, that's just still be in range.
That might actually be better for bunker coverage.
Yep. Keeping one bunker in range of the other is also nice. Quite a few Zerglings here, but bunker good unit cats. Even pulls the SCV, doesn't want it to get targeted down. It's like, okay, as long as the Marines are here to protect it, I'll build, but...
Yeah. Not pulling back the weak Marine, though. Unlike uThermal. uThermal's a player that's always very on point with his micro. One of the best micro players, I think, in Europe.
Yeah. Very good. Trying to get that SCV. Really good control on the SCV. Most of the Zerglings are gone. So the Queens are going to have to dive on that SCV, but I really like how patient he's been with it. Gets one of the Queens really low. Drones are getting pulled. I think he's going to be able to stop. Yeah, okay, he does finally kill the SCV, so no bunker going up there. I don't think he brought any more. No, so he's building the factory at home. But in a weird roundabout sort of way, even without getting the bunker up, he still did kind of some of the damage he would have wanted to do with it anyway. Like, he still got the drones, still killed almost all of the Zerglings that were there. The real big one, I think, for Reynor is that he didn't lose any of his Queens, but now I'm expecting uThermal to rally a Marine or two back, try to get a bunker. He's building the reactor on the factory, getting a starport. Get the BC out now, boy.
Yeah, indeed. And one barracks will be used to scout, the other one will be sent back. Mech is very likely the choice here, right? Like, to go back into bio would be very difficult.
Yeah. Because I don't think his pushes were necessarily bad, but the way that he controlled it and executed it made me feel like I was watching someone who could macro, but had not been playing a whole lot of bio lately either.
Yeah, not only that, but he's just set up for mech. I mean,
yeah.
He
his barracks are in the air.
Indeed. So, yeah. Now, that's a lot of links that Reynor has made to break this very weak contain at this point. So that's a win for uThermal in my book.
I think he tried to focus the Queens there too, with the bunker as it was getting attacked, and really good pullbacks by Reynor, still not losing any of his Queens in this game. But so at the end of all of it, they have lost the exact same number of resources.
Wow.
That's
right. I would say, I mean, this favors Reynor, right?
When this barracks dies, it changes. But yeah.
The barracks are in the air. That was an initial investment. I mean, the 2 barracks aren't really that big a commitment. You ideally kill the hatchery, but if not, I feel like uThermal did an okay job at getting some damage, like you said, with it, in spite of it being scouted as well very early on by Reynor.
Yeah, so it looks like this medevac is meant to just be bait to try and pull everything in while the Hellions run into the natural.
Did not work.
Did not work at all. Would have probably been better to actually try to elevator the Hellions. But
yeah. The problem is the Hellions got spotted, right? So Reynor, too smart for that. He's like, well, what can you have in that medevac, right? If your Hellions are here. Nothing. What's the answer?
Nothing. Third CC coming in for uThermal. He's going to finish off the wall on his natural. Going to make himself a nice thick wall. I want to see the starport get used to something else. He's got the tech lab on the barracks, and that's also making me nervous. Okay, he lifts it. Thank God. He's going to start another factory. Good boy. And he is going to try and drop Hellions now. There's a spot that doesn't have any vision on it in the corner, so he could unload and YOLO in.
It won't spot it, and he grabs the spot. So this is pretty good for uThermal. Reynor barely sees it actually.
As a react fast enough.
He is.
Yeah, okay, gets to 7. The Liberator's in the natural. It's the Liberator in the natural at the same time doing some.
Wow.
Kills a Roach too.
Yeah.
Maybe a Queen. Yeah, it's a Queen.
Yeah, that's very nice. Very, very well-timed attack by uThermal, and that's the kind of thing that you Terran players want to do at home. The Liberators are really easy to shift click, but if you don't have anything else going on elsewhere, then that's, equally easily for the Zerg to deal with.
I think the big win here is that he kept the medevac alive. That's really, really nice, because you just don't really want to be building medevacs when you're playing mech. Like, some people will do styles based around dropping Hellbats or something, but it's just nice that you have this tool that he could try and make that again and again. And at some point, you'll probably lose the medevac, but it's just it's a cool little thing to have in your pocket.
Absolutely. It adds a little bit of utility, especially if you end up going Thors or something like that. It can be really helpful to micro those slow fat units. Many spores now. Reynor being very cautious of this drop play.
Yeah, just got the 2 in very, very good positions to deny the medevac, and he's like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'll just lift up. I would send that home and repair it as he starts up a couple more factories. But that's kind of where things So this is one of the reasons why I really like the battlecruiser opening. And obviously this game started very different than the normal ones that we've seen. But it is kind of hard to find that sustained, consistent harass when the queens are out and there are some roaches on the field. Because it now is going to turn a lot into clearing up creep. And then if you can clear the creep, then the Cyclone Hellion can put on a lot of pressure. But Cyclone Hellion on creep against roaches, especially once they get speed, is very difficult to do. However, worth noting, I think the lair is done, but we don't have any upgrades coming from it yet. Just now roach speed starts.
Yeah, and that's because the mobility of the army of Cyclone Hellion is very high, but once you add creep to the roach arsenal, then it counters it.
Yeah. If the roaches get on top of the cyclones die very, very fast. So the best way to try and dance is off of creep with that. To listen to some beautiful mule call down sounds.
Yeah, Reynor has been very good at spreading his creep, and again, he's so good at this, and it's surprising to me that he doesn't do the same with overlords. Like, there's never any overlords when I watch him play ZvT. It's crazy.
Can't have your overlords get killed by a Pult Viking if you don't put any overlords on the map.
I guess so.
Just that first one that was over the natural. So 1-1 starts up, and I still think he should get a fusion core for Liberator range to complement Cyclone Hellion at some point, maybe when he gets closer to the 4th base. But it is scary to play versus this sometimes if you don't have an anchor point, because it's why he ran into some trouble on Cyber Forest against a laser, just because it was a huge number of roaches and ravagers. This army is not great at defending. So if he ever gets pushed back and he's only got Cyclone Hellion, it's very, very hard to defend against any attack.
Yeah, because once they're cornered, they can no longer kite, right? That's their strength.
Yep. It's like, what are you going to do? Run away while I kill your base?
Right.
Nidus Network coming in too. He does have an infestation pit, so you might see some swarm hosts. You're going to take the Serral approach.
Ooh, that would be wonderful. And Nidus is, a gap closer that does exactly what you were just talking about. It bypasses the entire map where he would get taxed crossing and just gets to your base, where if you don't engage the army, you're in trouble.
But Cats, for vision, he may need to use one of those overlords. And none of them are out on the map.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue for him. He's going to have to make an overseer. Does he have overlord speed? And he is going for the swarm host, by the way. Good call, Nate.
The medevac, by the way. That's that late game medevac value that is this queen has a hard time killing the Hellbats. Saves one of them, which is nice. And medevac's not as dummy thick as BC's, but if he doesn't go all the way back, that should be snipeable. He has one Marine mixed in with the Cyclone Hellion. I would think it's a changeling. Even though it's not a changeling, I would kill it. Just kill the Marine. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be with that army.
Yeah, that's a really weird Marine. Where did he...
I wanted to join the Mech Corps, but they told me I had to get into a fancy pants transformer suit, and I said I'd rather stand on my 2 feet.
You know what? Like, if Reynor sees that Marine and spends any thoughts in it, maybe it's worth it,
That's true. I would be surprised.
I would try to think what he's doing with it. Yeah, like, what is that Marine doing? Like, things like that can actually discombobulate.
Is he the general, Like, what reason would a Marine be with that force? Like, he's the shot caller.
If you want to throw me off in a game, Nate, just do something that makes absolutely no sense.
I'll just
continue to do it, and I will
3
go crazy.
naked Marines with my Mech Marine next time.
Yeah.
It's going to be 10 battle cruisers, like 4 Liberators, and just 3 Marines.
I will break my head trying to figure out what's up. Oh, that didn't do anything.
Well, that's one of the benefits of this style, though, is the swarm hosts are, since he already kind of has an idea that this is happening, we get from the first Nidus, it is really, really, really nice, because this many Hellions and Cyclones, like the Locusts themselves, should never accomplish anything if the army can be around. But
oh my God, he's too good!
Do you like donuts?
Oh no! That could have been so much better too. What a move by Reynor, just to have the foresight to position his army and be ready to do this on the other side of the map is absurd.
Yeah,
but
that was a really good grab. Got a few more drones, looks like, by that base.
Honestly, good heads up by uThermal too, saving any of that army. Just running the only way that he could run.
Yeah, that's a good grab. Trying to deny the Nidus for the reinforcement point. Another one is going to start up, but just got to be careful about any potential fungal growth. And he does get some tanks finally, but they siege up into death.
Yeah, unfortunately. And now Reynor is at his doorstep, and I mean, he can afford to do this. He has a little bit of bank, a lot more bases than uThermal. So
Cyclone Hellion is just, it's not a great defense army. The couple of tanks that he got are very, very crucial since the Hive is only halfway done. We're not quite at like Broodlord tech yet. That Planetary Fortress is going to get killed, and that's a sad, sour feeling for a team.
yeah, and I really like that decision making by Reynor, right? He's going after the SCVs until he determines, okay, I'm not going to catch him, just detonate onto the... Get what you can get, right? And it's very, very, very fast switching in terms of like what he's thinking. Like, for example, I think that after the Swarm Hosts do nothing, from my perspective, if I'm uThermal, I move out too.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a lot of your army just did nothing. I'm maxed. I'm going to move out. Reynor sees this coming just because he probably thinks, well, he's going to move out and positions his army so well. And that's the kind of foresight that players like Reynor and Cyril have that really serves to separate him. Very nice by uThermal here.
I do love watching a good drone barbecue. 20 drones dying. Pretty sick. Does he have transformation servos? No. Get it! Oh, he just starts it now.
Yeah. Triggered by that, probably. He had the same thought as you. It's like...
Transformation servos is, I firmly believe, one of the best mech upgrades. Like just what it can do for Hellions for supporting is so nice. And in against Protoss and Terran, the Viking landing is ridiculously useful.
Absolutely.
But I like this though, because he's gonna try and run away from this a little bit.
Oh, this is great. Okay, this might be the opening for uThermal once again to try and push. I mean, Reynor right now is investing into the 2-2 upgrades, into the Greater Spire, and he just lost a wave of Locust for nothing.
Yep.
That was a coup for nothing, right?
He's
You were
adding
wondering, is he
more.
gonna kill a tank? I'm like, no, nothing.
Is it gonna land? Nothing! Go home, sir, you lose!
He just might. I mean, this is so much Terran right now. No, you know, there's a lot of spend up supply onto those Swarm Hosts that are not going to be able to contribute till further into the fight. I think that Reynor would be best served just giving up this ground and this hatchery. He is still well spread throughout the map. He can take down his drones to the bottom bases. He's just going to sacrifice them. More barbecue. Here comes the next wave of Locusts, but still plenty of Hellbats.
Yeah. And the Locusts are going to be able to pick off a few of the tanks, but it may be too little too late here, Cats. I mean, Reynor does have a lot of resources to work with, so he's trying to overwhelm. He's trying to buy time. Greater Spire can do a lot, but like time is the question. And even with the Greater Spire, he doesn't have any Corruptors, so even if he wanted to, he can't actually make Broodlords.
Oh! Tried to do his best to split their uThermal, and those Locusts were very good by Reynor, identifying where the Hellbats were and sending them to the backline to try to find those tanks. That was as good a trade as he was gonna get, right? Gets like 4 or 5 tanks for free, and I think with that he's gonna be able to break the push of uThermal for the time being.
Once again, a lot of this comes down to you had a good attack, there was some good stuff happening there, but at the end of the day, what you really need is to have that 4th base going up behind it. And he's only just now resituated that 4th. He's not mining gas off of it. And he's got more gas than minerals, which is just a sign that he has been strapped for income. That only happens if you're behind economically, because you just don't have enough bases to actually build stuff nonstop. Because he's not building Hellions or anything.
His push was looking so very strong, though. The core of it was so very strong, and I feel like Reynor capitalized so well on the one opening that he had with those Locusts, right? And uThermal was probably banking on that specific... It's kind of like the same thing that happened to Gong Fu Banda, right? Like, Reynor just capitalized on the one mistake that he makes in that engagement. He knows when to take those windows.
Really good lock-ons onto the Swarm Host, but getting grabbed by that Fungal feels bad, and need Hellions to keep those Cyclones safe on the retreat.
Yeah, this is going to be rough from here on for uThermal. I think Reynor has complete map control. uThermal's going to give it one more go with a big push, but as the game progresses, I mean, more Swarm Hosts are being added, and there's not very many Hellions left over.
Nope. That's going to be the really tricky part, because the Hellbats are great versus the Locusts, but the Banelings can deal with the Hellbats extremely well. These are all pretty good grabs, though.
On the back end, there's something going on as well. There are a few tanks just engaging onto the Swarm Host. And this is not what Reynor wants. That army will kite him. He needs to come from every which angle, but this offers an opening for uThermal in turn, I think. he won't lose too much to that wave. Like, he loses it for free, so I guess anything is too much.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of Cyclones. Needs to get the Hellions back in for the Locust, but without tanks, because the Locusts deal best with the siege tanks. Like, it's very hard. The more tanks you have, the better the Locusts become. And if you don't have the tanks, then the Infestors are just going to constantly be throwing those fungals at the Cyclones, and that's it. That's all you need.
Absolutely. And wow, being annoying even with a burrowed Baneling, further delaying the economy of uThermal, and those scans hurt because it's like, ugh.
That's his main that he flew over there, by the way. Like, that's even less scans than you would normally think that someone has available. Oh, the Baneling's finished right in his face.
Yeah, the tank will offer shelter for those units.
These 3 Hellions are going to be running very exposed on creep. This isn't a planetary fortress, so the Zerglings. Yeah, this one's falling apart for uThermal. Reynor looking fantastic, like he's going to be able to make it to the next stage very easily, very early here. This Nidus will get shut down. He did see the Ling's burrow, but yet again, it's another scan that he has to use. Cats.
Yeah, and this is difficult for uThermal too because of how his bases are laid out now. There's so much space between the main and his 4th base, I suppose, right? Whereas normally, especially with mech, you want your bases to be a little bit more compact. And that's something that Reynor's going to be looking to and has been abusing by just sending these attacks in 2 different locations whilst dealing with the army and so on. So this is very, very difficult for uThermal. He has to find a way to consolidate an army that can actually take on Reynor's whilst defending, you know, aggression on 2 different sides potentially. It's so difficult.
I mean, he's got a good pinch on the Swarm Host, and this is one of those really awkward things that can happen when you want to play with the Heck Muffins, is that when the Locust Wave is out, if you don't have your army there to cover the Swarm Hosts themselves, then he actually shaved off quite a few of the Swarm Hosts. He's down to just 9 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Reynor's got more money to work with. He's got a great base count. The only thing I'm going to say for uThermal that is nice is his west bases, his northwest base. He's done a solid job of holding on to them, but he still broke as a joke.
Yeah, but that base is so exposed. All of the bases for uThermal are so very exposed. Just Ling Rambice would be amazing here.
Yep. He's got this Burrowed Roach, so he'll always have vision to build Nidus Worms. And it's like, all right, I'm going to build a turret. Don't want to build a turret, but I also don't want to scan every single every other second.
Yeah. And there's some Lings now being produced. They need to be sent into every base. And look at uThermal, he's so good. I mean, even just sending those 2 units there, anticipating the potential for this.
Yep, saves some SCV lives, but like it's just like some minor stuff that ends up adding a lot. He never took gas on his center west base, but he didn't retake the gas on this base after he lifted it. And one of the refineries got destroyed, but like he didn't even move 3 workers onto it. He doesn't have gas. He's just, all you got is minerals right now. And now Broodlords are going to come out, and those, well, Cyclones suck versus Broodlords. Just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, he's done a very good job of pushing the creep on the north side of the map, so he's focusing on the area that has the more creep. So uThermal is doing the best that he can, but he's in such a difficult position, and when the Brutes show up, or even the Heck Muffins, as you would call them, yeah, it's going to be rough. The Hellions trying to draw the fire didn't work out.
Nope. This Locust Wave is going to just go up and over. The Hellbats will deal with it without too much trouble. As we see a little bit of Hellbat harass, and even now it's like, okay, maybe he can still get some drones. You can shoot the hatchery and try to get the AoE, or
a
the
scan.
drones just live.
Happen, yeah.
This is just really, really hard to deal with. Those Broodlords are a huge nuisance.
Yeah, what can you even do if you're uThermal? I mean, he's not set up for this, right?
No.
He can't do anything. He needs enough Cyclones that he can actually break through the Broodlords with Hellbats on the front. I mean, if you're Reynor, I think you're just making enough Banelings to make sure that the Hellbats can't break through the Locust, or the what is it called, Broodlings?
The Broodlings.
And then you're just golden.
Yep. That's the really hard part right now. This weird situation, because he's got all these Hellions because he wasn't mining gas for so long. But and it's going to take 1 fungal, and almost all these guys will die. Wow, okay, it gets a really good spread, which I actually quite like. This is where you turn into Hellbats and try to kill those infested Terrans a bit faster. But
yeah. Reynor actually missing the fungals a little bit, right? Like letting the units get a little bit closer to the infestors where they're threatened. And this is probably why he was probably looking at this.
Yeah, and he gets a great cleanup here. 16 SCVs dead.
And I mean, that's the thing that he can capitalize through and through this game. It's just how spread and how thin the defenses for uThermal are. Like you say, no PFs, no nothing.
The reason why this game still looks so scrappy is mostly because a lot of supply is still tied up in the swarm hosts. So even though uThermal only has 61 army supply, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Watching that gives me anxiety.
Me too. I hate the whole thingies.
Are you, what are you?
I'm not, but almost close enough. I mean, I look at pictures and it really bothers me, but it's not like...
The swarm host doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I've seen like some of those plants, and I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
nope, 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 nope.
There's like some photoshops of like arms with holes in it. I can't.
No. There's a bad guy in JoJo's like that. I was like, nope, 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 nope. Nope, no, 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 no.
No.
No. So we're just waiting for him to just hit the hammer on the nail one more time, drive it through his heart, and put this one away. There we go. There's the abducts. Get some cheeky neurals, neural parasite cyclones.
Yeah, I think this is the last stand. There is just not much left, and I mean the Broodlords are immobile, so you know, like if he had enough of a Cyclone Hellion army, maybe he could do something with it. But at this point, I mean, Reynor's taking the bait that they get out of my game base, you know.
Yep. He's like, I'm gonna take this one, and then the game really is over.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're broke, so yes, you can scan and you can kill drones, but I'm Reynor, and I have 4,000 minerals.
Yep.
It's like, all right, I'll build 13 drones. Cool. I'm going to kill your SCVs that you can't replace.
Indeed. And he has done a wonderful job, Reynor, that is of abusing the distance between the bases, always hitting on two sides.
GG is called, and Reynor takes the 2-0. He's going to make it out of Group A in first place.
In outstanding fashion, almost only dropping one game.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Group A for absolutely amazing cats. Wow.
Wow.
Fantastic gameplay there by Reynor, the young Zerg. I think meeting everybody's expectations with how well he's been playing this year. We expect him to basically only lose to Cyril, realistically, outside of...
That's a lot of weight to place on them, but yeah, I think I would like to see...
He's earned the weight.
Yeah, but I mean, uThermal, I think, is European elite. You know, I think that this wasn't his best day, maybe, as far as uThermal's concerned. I think he could give a fight to Reynor.
I would have loved to see, and I know that to me it feels like he didn't do it because he didn't want to be predictable, but I would have loved to see his BC rush into mech against Reynor. But Reynor will move on, and that means that uThermal falls down to the decider, and I think this actually will hurt uThermal a lot because he's going to have to play a TVP, a matchup he's very vocal about. And that's what's coming up next, ladies and gentlemen. The final match for Group A, Gung Fu Banda versus uThermal. We'll see you on the other side.